This film will provide all the information and reactions you need to comprehend this significant event in the history of the Latter-day Saints. Whether you are a long-time member, a newcomer, or just someone who is inquisitive about them, if you would like to receive more updates on news and inspiring stories from the Latter-day Saints, please subscribe, like, and comment. Everyone pays attention when President Russell M. Nelson speaks. Whether they are members of the church or just follow religious news, the whole Latter-day Saint community is reeling from President Nelson's announcement, which he made just moments ago. The news has already been hailed as a watershed moment in recent church history due to its profound significance and surprising nature. What President Nelson just said has the potential to alter the course of the church's destiny indefinitely. So everyone, lifelong members, curious observers, and those who are just now learning about this, will want to hear every detail. Now we can lay the groundwork. The church has been headed by 99-year-old Russell M. Nelson during an era of unparalleled development and transformation. From the historic change to the Mormon moniker, to the reorganization of Sunday services, and the revelation of dozens of new temples across the globe, he has brought forth extensive reforms since becoming the 17th president and prophet of the church in 2018. The church has grown in size, worldwide reach, and emphasis on Christ's teachings during his tenure as pastor. Nothing, however, could have prepared members for today's events, not even all these adjustments. From Salt Lake City, Utah, a special live broadcast was held during which the news was made. As if waiting for a message of encouragement or a new temple, members from all around the globe tuned in. Rather, President Nelson made an emotional but steady television appearance and delivered a speech that held everyone's attention. First, he addressed his beloved family members. The following revelation has come to me after much fasting, prayer, and seeking the Lord's will, and I am happy to share it with you today. The atmosphere dimmed. The impending doom was palpable, even through the television. President Nelson added, "The Lord has impressed upon my mind and heart a new direction for His church. This is not a change in doctrine, but a change in how we live and share the gospel in these latter days." He paused, allowing the words to dwell in his heart, starting right away. A global project is being introduced that will have an effect on all members, wards, and branches of the church. Speculation erupted in social media feeds and discussion rooms. What on earth does this even signify? Would you say it was a new policy, program, or something even more significant? Details followed. The Gathering of Israel, a worldwide endeavor to bring members together in service, missionary activity, and community engagement, was proclaimed by President Nelson as its launch. His new initiative urges all members to take part in the greatest work of our time, which he described as a focus on local humanitarian projects and a simplification of missionary service. Members will be urged to work together with people of different faiths, city officials, and community groups to solve urgent issues in their neighborhoods. "Mr. President, we are the hands of the Lord," remarked President Nelson. "Now is the moment for us to go forth, be lifted up, and love just like Christ would." There was more to come in the announcement. A new digital platform, app, and website was also unveiled by President Nelson. Its purpose is to link members with opportunities for service, missionary work, and personal improvement tools. Users will be able to connect with one another in real time, share experiences, and plan projects on the site. "A new era is dawning," declared President Nelson. "New resources are being given to us by the Lord to help assemble Israel and get ready for His return." Immediate and overwhelming was the reaction. Gratitude, enthusiasm, and even some shock were among the sentiments expressed on social media. Leaders in the Christian community from all over the globe started posting their own opinions, showing their support for the project, and urging their followers to participate. The news came as a relief to many, who saw it as proof that the Lord is moving His church forward in significant ways. Questions arose, though, as they do with any significant shift. What impact will this have on the conventional model of missionary work? What does this mean for members and leaders at the local level who are already under pressure? Thirdly, and most crucially, how does this portend the church's future leadership by President Nelson? Members all throughout the world are now pondering these very topics. Questions will be answered in the days and weeks to come. Members and leaders worldwide began to ponder the implications of this new gathering of Israel effort for their everyday lives as the initial shock of President Nelson's statement started to fade. Some found the news thrilling. It offered an opportunity to be a part of something monumental, to serve in ways they had never thought possible, and to witness the church fearlessly enter a new age of unity and outreach. Others felt a mixture of anticipation and apprehension upon hearing the news. For religious groups that place a premium on continuity and tradition, even motivated change can be scary. Local authorities started getting directives from Salt Lake City almost instantly. Special meetings were called for by stake presidents, bishops, and Relief Society presidents to review the project and come up with ways their congregations may take part. President Nelson ushered in the new digital platform with training sessions and tutorials, describing it as a gathering place for the saints. It was suggested that members get the app, make an account, and look into local service possibilities. A personal letter from President Nelson personally urged every member to prayerfully consider how you might be a part of this great work, and the official church website was updated with information, frequently asked questions, and more. The reaction from the younger members of the congregation was particularly fervent. Many young people viewed the new platform as an inevitable part of their everyday lives as they had grown up with cell phones and social media. Faculty members at the institute and seminary started talking about the effort in class and how it could inspire students to find new ways to help the people around them. News broke of youth organizations that had organized food drives, park cleanups, and outreach programs to help their neighbors. All of them were moved to action by President Nelson's rallying cry. Even missionaries were thrust into the spotlight by the new program. Church mission effort has followed a predictable pattern for a long time. During their 24-month missionary service, many young men and women, fresh out of high school, travel the country to share the gospel, teach others, and knock on doors. However, a change was indicated by President Nelson's statement. Local service, humanitarian projects, and interfaith partnership would now take precedence over conventional missionary duty. But both would persist as they undergo training to become ambassadors of Christ in all things. Missionaries would learn not only how to teach, but also how to serve. People were curious and excited about this new method. Many were concerned about its impact on baptisms, the standard indicator of a mission's effectiveness. Others see it as an opportunity to demonstrate to the world the genuine nature of a follower of Jesus Christ and to foster understanding among people of different religions. Church officials wanted to make sure their followers knew that inviting everyone to come to Christ was still the church's primary purpose. Though the means may change, the message would remain constant. Media outlets globally started to pay attention as the announcement made its way over the web. Major newspapers and television stations ran headlines with correspondents speculating about how the project will affect the religious landscape around the world. Many religious leaders of President Nelson's age and prominence have been reluctant to accept such massive reform. Therefore, his proposal has been met with admiration from religious scholars. Some have drawn parallels between the statement and previous watershed events in church history, such as the 1978 revelation on the priesthood or the 2018 changes to Sunday worship. Many members found President Nelson's call to love and unity to be the most moving aspect of his speech. Each of us is a special child of God. Remember, he said to the audience, although we have genuine differences, what unites us is our trust in Jesus Christ. Amidst global divisions, he urged his followers to be peacemakers by reaching out to the forgotten and marginalized, fostering understanding, and constructing bridges of understanding. At a time when people are looking for meaning, community, and optimism, the message hit home. Many people took to social media in the hours after the announcement to share their stories, testimonies, and appreciation. Some members even went so far as to say that the program had prompted them to seek out new ways to serve, get in touch with loved ones, and even reach out to their neighbors. Both enthusiasm and a heavy burden of duty were apparent. Everybody could hear President Nelson's call. It was more than a program. It was a movement, and each participant could contribute to the restoration's continuing narrative. Over the course of the day, President Nelson's revelation had far-reaching consequences. Members met in wards and branches all around the world, from Manchester to Salt Lake City, and from Sao Paulo to Manila, to plan the local implementation of the Gathering of Israel program. For some, it meant planning service initiatives to meet urgent needs, such as providing aid to refugees, donating to food banks, or paying visits to the elderly. Some saw it as an opportunity to connect with folks of different religions, while others saw it as a chance to reconnect with former churchgoers, or just to be more involved in their communities. There was an immediate explosion of activity on the new digital platform. Everyone was online to talk about what they were working on, who they were interested in collaborating with, and share ideas. Even those without a technical background should have no trouble navigating and utilizing the app. A place to share faith stories and testimonials was among the several areas, which also included possibilities for volunteerism and missionary work. There were thousands of posts within a few hours. Images of kids raking trash from municipal parks, accounts of families feeding the hungry, and moving words from members moved to action. Thought big, but start small, was the message from church leaders. You don't have to change the world overnight. A stake president informed his congregation. Get down to the small stuff. Your own street, building, and family. Everything you do will be rewarded abundantly by the Lord. For many, the sheer magnitude of the undertaking was too much to bear. Thus this message hit close to home. The goal was not to make people's already hectic lives even busier, but to make discipleship more of a regular part of everyone's schedule by incorporating service and outreach into everyday activities. Young and old missionaries alike started to perceive their responsibilities differently. Along with baptizing and teaching, they were now to assess community needs and rally their followers to address them. Blood drives, literacy programs, and disaster aid were among the activities that some companionships planned in conjunction with local organizations. Those who had been prepared for a more conventional style of missionary service found the change particularly difficult. However, for a great number of people, it was an exciting opportunity to witness the gospel being put into practice, to have a real impact, and to form relationships that would endure long after their missions came to an end. The general public had a very favorable reaction. News sites in the area reported the hubbub, writing on how the church is always ready to help those in need and work together. People of different faiths were in touch to offer their support and look into potential collaborations. Some communities established interfaith councils to unite individuals of various faiths and cultures in pursuit of shared objectives. Already, the program was reducing prejudice, increasing tolerance, and uniting people regardless of their religious beliefs. Obviously, not everyone was quick to agree. Members who were already struggling to balance job, family, and church duties expressed concern about the new initiative's expectations. Some were concerned about the impact on long-running events and programs that the changes would bring about. In a compassionate response, church leaders recognized the difficulties and urged members to do what they could at the time. President Nelson reminded members in a subsequent speech that the Lord is aware of their hearts. Whatever you do, no matter how insignificant, He will reward. Anxieties was in the air as this momentous day came to a close. Attendees considered President Nelson's remarks, wondering what the future held and how they could contribute to this next phase of the church's evolution. The news served as a rallying cry for many, a gentle reminder that the task of assembling Israel is for all members, everywhere, not only the prophets and apostles. Even if President Nelson's declaration would have far-reaching consequences, the story of the gathering of Israel endeavor was only just starting. With a shared vision and an abundance of optimism, the church was making strides ahead. The people of the LDS Church were filled with confidence, resolve, and a renewed resolve to follow the Savior's example. As they readied themselves to enter this new age, the enthusiasm and drive of the Latter-day Saints intensified in the days after President Nelson's statement. Reports started trickling in from all across the world. Accounts of regular people doing remarkable things for the team. A team of Relief Society sisters in Africa spearheaded a program to purify the water supply for an adjacent community. Together with local shelters, youth groups in Europe fed and accompanied homeless people. Families in the U.S. came together to provide hygiene kits for those who had lost everything in the recent disaster. And missionaries in South America started reading programs for kids in disadvantaged communities. No longer was the initiative known as the Gathering of Israel merely a headline. It was a dynamic movement that had an impact on people's lives and caused them to change. The project was supported by the church headquarters in Salt Lake City, which operated around the clock. There was a dedicated help desk established up to answer queries concerning the digital platform. Webinars were hosted for local leaders, and new training materials were produced. In an effort to tackle some of the most critical issues facing our planet, Latter-day Saint Charities, the humanitarian arm of the Church, has announced new collaborations with international groups. For many, it seemed like the long-awaited fulfillment of biblical prophecies, as a feeling of togetherness and purpose was tangible. At the core of it all, President Nelson himself continued to offer confidence, direction, and support. He followed up with a video message in which he congratulated members for being open to change and reminded them that the Lord's work is dynamic and ever-changing. His conviction shone through when he declared that revelation is a continuous process. We can be assured that the Lord will lead us in our pursuit of His desire. Miracles will happen to you and the people you help as you take part in this campaign. I guarantee it. Everyone in the neighborhood, not only those in the church, felt the effects of the announcement. Religious leaders in the area have contacted the church to convey their respect for its dedication to helping others and working together. People of different faiths and cultures came together to work side by side on interfaith service days that were organized in several cities. Communities that had been estranged due to ignorance or apathy were able to come together, again thanks to the project. It served as a potent reminder to many that faith, when manifested, can mend, bring people together, and bring about profound change. Participants started posting online accounts of their experiences as the program gained traction. Images, videos, and testimonials abound on social media, proving that there are innumerable acts of generosity happening all around the globe. People who would never have stepped foot in a Latter-day Saint chapel were drawn to the trending hashtags Gathering of Israel and LDS Service on Twitter and Instagram. Members could share in each other's triumphs, provide and receive counsel, and discover new sources of inspiration on the online platform, which soon became a virtual community center. More people than ever before felt a part of the community, and for many, it was like catching a glimpse of Zion, a people bound together by religion, love, and purpose. Obviously, there were some problems with the project. It was difficult for some members to juggle the responsibilities of service with those of regular life. Some people experienced doubt from loved ones who failed to grasp the significance of the church's new course of action. Coordinating large-scale projects and getting resources to people who needed them most were both logistical challenges. The initiative spirit, however, was unwavering. There was mutual encouragement, problem-solving, and the constant reminder that the Lord valued every effort, no matter how little, from the members. President Nelson sent another message of appreciation and optimism as the first week of the program drew to a close. He informed the members that they were making history by loving one another, serving one another, and gathering Israel in these latter days. You are responding to the Savior's invitation. We are only at the beginning of what the Lord will do through you, but I am confident that He will increase your efforts and bless you beyond your wildest dreams. The Latter-day Saints were prepared to step up and impress the world as they watched. There was more to the Gathering of Israel effort than just a program. All three came together to demonstrate the strength of faith in the face of a dynamic and unpredictable world. As the Gathering of Israel progressed, its influence extended well beyond the confines of the church. Media worldwide covered the narrative, praising the massive scope of the endeavor and the harmony it brought about among Latter-day Saints. Even though he was almost a century old, President Nelson led with vision and vigor, encouraging the church to adjust to a world that was changing at a rapid pace, according to commentators. The effort proved, according to many onlookers, that religion communities can continue to be agents of positive change, even in the face of polarization and uncertainty. The project unleashed a flood of imagination and fresh ideas within the church. A new understanding of service and gospel sharing emerged among the members. To help feed low-income families, several wards and branches established community gardens, reaching out to people who might never have thought of entering a chapel. Members in other groups planned job fairs, tutoring programs, and workshops on mental health. Members posted about their completed projects, offered advice, and connected with others who shared their interests, turning the online platform into a central location for idea sharing. Families were even closer as a result of the program. Collaborating on community service initiatives brought families closer together, fostering memories that would endure a lifetime. Serving as a couple discovered a whole new meaning in life. While individuals without a social network found a place to call home. That the gospel is about more than simply our own salvation, elevating others, constructing Zion, and getting the world ready for the Savior's return was a message that the movement sought to convey to many. Regular virtual sessions allowed church leaders to address questions and share best practices, continuing to offer leadership and support. Regional leaders from Area 7 met with members, listened to their issues, and provided words of encouragement as they traveled to various regions. It was an unambiguous message. Everyone was important. No effort was insignificant. Even the smallest sacrifices were not hidden from the Lord. The initiative's success became more apparent as time went on. As neighbors rallied to help one another, crime rates decreased in certain areas. In other places, the church was lauded by local authorities for its cooperative spirit and dedication to social change. Reports of various kinds of miracles started making the rounds. Help arrived in time to save an Asian family from eviction. The Sisters of the Relief Society encouraged an African girl to go back to school. Organizers in one European town came up with a community service initiative that helped a struggling company owner keep his doors open. Not only were large-scale events fulfilling President Nelson's vision, but the small, consistent acts of kindness that characterized genuine discipleship were also taking place. Individuals experienced a revitalization of their mission, a strengthening of their bond with Christ, and a heightened admiration for the variety and power of the worldwide church. The goal of the program was to bring people together, mend fences, and construct bridges of mutual respect and affection. Problems persisted, naturally. Due to their hectic schedules, some members still had trouble fitting service into their week. Although some encountered opposition from individuals who were suspicious of the church's intentions or resistant to change, the general atmosphere was one of hope and belief. The members supported each other, urging them to persevere, have faith in the Lord's timing, and recognize that even the smallest acts of service contributed to a greater whole. On the eve of the announcement's anniversary, President Nelson was ready to give his second sermon to the congregation. The members eagerly awaited his views and the announcement of the future steps. As always, there was a palpable sense of togetherness and enthusiasm, which is a tribute to the transformative power of visionary leadership and the resilience of the common people. The endeavor known as the Gathering of Israel was more than simply a reaction to a world that was changing. It was a public profession of faith, an oath to serve, and an assurance that the church's finest hour was yet to come. Few could have foreseen the extent to which the church would be affected as the first year of the Gathering of Israel initiative came to an end. A global movement was now in motion, initiated only months ago by President Russell M. Nelson's announcement. More than just inspiring, the stories that emerged were ones of service, solidarity, and faith. They demonstrated that the church was active, expanding, and prepared to face the problems of a new age. The president made an encore appearance before an international audience for his much-anticipated follow-up address. A spirit of thankfulness, modesty, and rekindled hope permeated his speech. What we have seen over these past months is nothing short of miraculous. He continued, addressing his cherished brothers and sisters. Your efforts have been amplified by the Lord, and we are assembling the people of Israel in ways that our forefathers could never have imagined. Through seemingly insignificant deeds of service, he recounted many lives that were touched, barriers that were shattered, and faiths that were reinforced. What a remarkable example of a follower of Jesus Christ you are. He spoke in a voice betraying his feelings. His appeal to love, raise, and unite has been answered by you. Moving on to share anecdotes from all across the globe, President Nelson spoke of members who had gone above and beyond, communities that had been changed forever, and miracles that had occurred because of the program. He gave the example of a tiny Pacific island chapter that, after members helped out their neighbors in need, grew double. An entire city in Eastern Europe came together on a single day of service, he said, thanks to a group of young adults who had planned it. He related the story of a South American single mother who, with the help of her ward, had finally discovered peace and hope after enduring years of despair.